The Mack Granite makes a great base, but without the body on it, you're not gonna get much done. This week, we are talking about the Galfab roll-off unit on this. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Josh with Premier Truck Sales and Rental. This week, we are covering this Galfab body here. Now, this is a 75,000 pound hoist, which means basically, whatever you want to put on the back here, it's gonna lift it, it's gonna move it. Now, in a lot of senses, anyone can put a hoist on the back of a truck, but the way it's installed and the quality of the hoist make a huge difference, not only in terms of the usage that you're going to get out of it, but the longevity out of it and how easy it is to use. Now, one of the ways that this becomes easier to use is there's controls here and there's controls inside of the truck. Whether you're inside, outside, whatever you need to do, you've got the controls there for the body to be able to use that. Now, one of the biggest advantages to that is with trucks, the times when most truck drivers get injured is getting in and out of the truck. By putting those extra controls inside the truck, guess what? We've eliminated a lot of those trips in and out of the truck, meaning you are that much safer. The other thing that's nice about this here too is the fact that both the hoist and the tarp controls, they're all right here. You don't need to run to separate spots to control either one of them. It's just making it that much simpler. Now let's go on to the installation of this, because this is something where big differences are made. So one of the first things you'll probably notice in this is a clean installation. Straight line, no extra, just it's run up and out of the way. Same thing with this, clean, no extra, up and out of the way. Those hoses back there, same thing. Now, the way that's done is every hose is designed for these applications. It's all custom hoses. All the hoses are made here, so that way we can always be sure that we've got the right fit in the right spot. One of the other big advantages of all the hoses being made here is that they can all be sleeved, protecting them from abrasion. Now, one of the most frustrating things in the world is when a hydraulic hose goes because it just rubbed against something for so long. This prevents all that. And on the top step of this, all of us have cut ourselves on a zip tie at one point. When you cut zip ties off, those things turn into razor blades. We use pliers that cut them perfectly flush. So if you've ever got to work around underneath there, you're not going to look like you got in a fight with a pricker bush. Just clean and ready to go. Also with those hose routings, all hoses are routed so that way if you ever do have a hose issue, you don't have to worry about lifting the bed to get to a hose or anything like that. All hoses are accessible, whether the bed's up, down, whatever. So while we're at it in this area, let's go ahead and talk about this Pioneer rack and pinion tarp system. There are a ton of great features with this. Now, first off, these cylinders aren't facing a huge load, but what they are facing is a ton of salt and other issues. And this rod has to be extended a good portion of the time. So it's a nitride coating on the end of the hydraulic cylinder here. That way we're not worried about corrosion. Now, the tarp in terms of the front system on that is adjustable for height. That way, if you've got a taller box, shorter box, you can make sure that you've got it covered without having to get out, move things around that are heavy, whatever. Other nice thing that's great about this tarp system is, first off, is this is a heavy-duty tarp system, but knowing that, Pioneer uses a rack and pinion gear-driven setup in the base. Now what that does is that makes sure that the arms stay in sync. We've all seen it where one arm's halfway done and the other arm's just starting. You will never have that problem with this tarp setup. It is always going to go front to back, dead even, because that's what it's engineered to do. Pioneer has a reputation for making a super solid system that's probably going to outlast quite a few of us. So over on this side, because we don't have the tank, what we do have is a little bit better. Plenty of room for tie downs, irons, chains, whatever you need, you can fit in here. In fact, I could probably fit in there. I'm not going to though, but I probably could. Nonetheless, plenty of space for whatever you want to take along with you, but don't necessarily want to have in the cab. Yeah, for instance, me. Nonetheless, the other thing that I like about this too, it's lockable. Put your lock on it, walk away. We're gonna finish off some of the stuff at the back here just because it's where it's easiest to see. This additional wear plate here is extra thick for obviously longevity. Now it sits on top of a 10-inch frame. The beauty of this 10-inch frame is that it requires no subframe underneath it. That way you can actually save weight by going a little bit beefier here. Something else that's added, a lot of them just do one tie down. We actually put two on here because you never know if you're going to need to pick up a shorter box. This way you've got that ability to have the tie down on the side already instead of having to carry an extra few or whatever you need there. On top of this, there are 4 rollers on this instead of 3, which is standard. When you add that 4th roller, there's actually quite a few benefits from it. First off, the wear is spread out between 4 rollers instead of just 3. The other benefit that you get is it becomes much easier to move boxes on and off because, well, now we've got 4 points of contact instead of just 3. Now, right behind me here is something that just bolts partially to the body of the truck, and this is the minimizer fenders. Now, these are a plastic fender, and the great thing about them is, hit them, beat them, whatever, they're typically gonna bounce back. If they don't, it's a very simple and inexpensive repair. Some of the steel fenders, boy, you dent one of those, it's expensive or it's difficult to repair. These, very simple, and they're very strong too. So last but not least, at the back here, we've got a reinforced plate here and reinforced ground roller mounts, because this is one of those key areas where if this goes bad, your day goes bad. We want to make sure that you get every bit of longevity that we can out of this. And that is why it's all reinforced. It really goes along with the theme of the rest of the truck. If you can do something better, then do it better. And that's exactly what we've done with this. To experience the premier difference really is to see how things have been thought through, to see how they've been done, to see the experience that goes into making these trucks. Because we've seen so many of these trucks, we know what goes wrong, and we know how to make sure that it doesn't go wrong for you. And that is why you should experience the premier difference. It's that difference in making sure that you're out on the road and not in the shop. So thanks for coming along on this tour of the Mack Granite roll-off that we have. I've had a ton of fun doing it. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you're as excited as I am for the next trucks that we have coming up. I think there's going to be some good ones. That being said, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notifications bell so that way you know when the next one comes out. If you've got a question about this or any of the trucks here at Premier, by all means put that in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this. I will see you out on the road. Stay safe.